Now, game theory was the invention of John von Neumann, the Hungarian polymath, who you probably are more familiar with as the inventor of the modern computer and one of the fathers of the atomic bomb. With the Cold War starting up, the notion that mathematicians were going to invent a science of strategic thinking which would help you predict the moves of other countries was a sexy and glamorous idea whose time seemed to have come. Now, John Nash was naturally irreverent, iconoclastic. When he was asked on his Princeton graduate school application to state his religion, he wrote down Shinto. Soon after he got to Princeton, he zeroed in on a problem that he knew had eluded the great von Neumann. You see, John von Neumann had a good theory only for all-out rivalries in which your gain is my loss and vice versa. But very few real-life situations, certainly not in economics, and if you think about it, not even in nuclear warfare, very few interesting real-life situations are, in fact, zero-sum games. So John Nash, instead of focusing on that model, focused instead on competitive situations in which mutual gain was possible, scenarios, all the scenarios that lay somewhere on the spectrum between all-out conflict and total cooperation. Von Neumann's theory applied only to games with two players. Again, most real-life situations that we might want to model, whether we're talking about auctions or collective bargaining or the war on terror, most interesting real-life situations involve several or many players. What Nash proved in his thesis was that no matter how complex the scenario, no matter where it lies on this spectrum, there is always at least one situation, one set of circumstances in which each and every player says to him or herself that they have done the best that they can do given the choices that the other players have made, and therefore that they have no incentive to make further moves or otherwise change their position. He called that the equilibrium point. Didn't tell you, didn't show you how you could get there, but he proved that it always exists, and he did that in 27 pages. Now, in the movie, there's a very interesting scene in a bar that dramatizes, I think in a very clever way, that dramatizes the essence of Nash's original idea. And of course, people are always asking me, so did he really come up with his idea in a bar? Now, Nash did hang out with other graduate students in a bar on Nassau Street in Princeton, but they were definitely not picking up girls. Sadly, there were no co-eds at Princeton in the late 40s, in fact, not until the 70s. And anyhow, John Nash was fairly shy with girls at that point. At his high school prom, which his mother forced him to attend, with a date that she forced his younger sister to make for him, he preferred to spend the evening dancing with a stack of chairs and not the girl. Anyway,